So guys, welcome to the channel Agriculture World Happiness. In this video guys, I'm going to be sharing with you how to grow quality yellow maize. So you make sure you give a like to the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for always supporting my channel Agriculture World Happiness by liking the video and by commenting and also by sharing. I really can't take that for granted, and therefore I have to give you guys quality video. And as I said, today's video we're going to be looking at how to grow quality yellow maize. And I'm not going to do the video from outside here today. I'm making it in a different style, in a way that I'm going to make it from inside, such that you are going to be able to see exactly what we are talking about, how the maize looks like, how we normally grow our maize. So you make sure you don't miss on this video, and make sure you don't miss on any step. Make sure you watch it up to the end, such that you can also be one of the farmers or one of the persons to grow quality yellow maize. So guys, let's start the video and let me take you inside. Here I am, and this is where I'm going to be explaining everything to you from the first step to the last step. Our step number one is choose the right variety. And talking about the right variety, it must be a variety which is high yielding hybrid yellow maize variety. And this variety you have chosen, or you are going to be choosing, must be a variety which is going to suit your region or your area where you are going to be growing your maize. Because in most cases, maize varieties, they favor different regions. Not that the variety which is from another region may favor yours. In most cases, they differ. And the other thing, this variety you have chosen, or you are going to be choosing, must be a variety which is drought resistant. It must be a variety which is pest resistant or disease resistant. And also at the same time, this variety you have chosen must be a variety which is quick maturing. You don't need to choose variety which is going to take very long for you. You have to choose something which is short, like short maturing variety. And the other thing also, the variety you have chosen must be from a certified source or from a recommended source, because not that every supplier outside there is having a certified seed. The others who are just there to make money. So when you go there because it is cheap and you buy something which is very cheap, of course the end result you are going to be getting is also not going to be what you wanted. So therefore, I recommend you to go for certified source or certified supplier. And our step number two is field preparation, or you call it land preparation. And talking about land preparation, how do we do the land preparation? Make sure you plow your field 2 to 3 times before planting your maize or planting your yellow maize. And that's because you want to have a fine bed or fine ground for planting your seed, which you have bought from a certified source. And also, the other thing, under the field preparation, if you have the farmyard manure, or if you can afford the farmyard manure, you make sure you also add the farmyard manure in the field before planting. And also before planting, you make sure you level the field very well. And the reason why we're leveling the field is because we want to have uniform planting and also uniform irrigation. Sometimes we do irrigate the field. If you plant, then it takes long to germinate because you don't have the required rain or something, or it has germinated but the rain has disappeared. So that's why we want to have a leveled field, so that it's going to be easier for you to irrigate your field. So our step number 3 is planting for maximum yield. And talking about the maximum yield, I'm going to be explaining something about the seed rate you need per hectare and also what spacing you must use. Our spacing, or our recommended spacing, is from 70 to 75 centimeters between the rows. And between the plants, the recommended spacing is from 20 to 25 centimeters. And what is the advantage, or what is the reason why we use that spacing, or why it is recommended? This spacing helps the plant to get the required soil nutrient such that they don't compete. And also it helps the plant to get the required sunshine. And at the same time, this spacing also allows the aeration, the air to move in between the plant. So that's why we always recommend the farmers to use that kind of spacing, which is the correct spacing. And talking about the seed rate, the recommended seed rate, according to our calculation, is always from 20 kilogram to 25 kilogram per hectare. That is, if you want to raise that required yield, if you want to get that required yield, and you're using this spacing I've mentioned. So that is what you should prepare. Just bear in mind, I'm supposed to buy from 20 to 25 kilogram per hectare. So that is it. And then the other thing, talk still about the planting. Make sure you plant your seed at the onset of the rain, or you irrigate. And why I'm saying you irrigate is because sometimes you might see that time is going, but the rains are delaying. You can mean to plant yours because you'll get the advantage at the end. Not that you're going to irrigate for the entire season. Time will come. By the time people are going to be planting their maize, you've already planted yours. You irrigated even for some few days. So yours germinates, and you'll be the first person to step in the market with your quality yellow maize. So that was about the planting. And then the other thing, I'm going to talk about fertilizer application, and soil nutrition. And talking about the fertilizer application, I'm going to break it into two. We're going to look at the first stage, or the first step, which is the basal fertilizers. And also, we're going to talk about the top dressing fertilizers. And talking about the basal fertilizers, these are fertilizers which we use for planting the maize. And what are the examples of basal fertilizers? We have got fertilizers like NPK, and also we have got the fertilizers like DAP. So those are the top required fertilizers, or recommended fertilizers for planting the maize for high yield. And what about the top dressing fertilizers? Top dressing fertilizers are the fertilizers which we apply after 3 weeks of germination. And what are those examples? We have got the fertilizer like CAN, and also we have got the urea fertilizer. Talking about CAN and urea, I'm going to be looking at, we're going to be talking about the 2 stages you should apply these fertilizers. The first stage, which is after 3 weeks, as I said, the first stage, you apply it at the vegetative growth. This is when I talk about the vegetative growth, I'm talking about when the plant is just growing. That's after 3 weeks, it's just growing, right? And then the other next stage you must apply your top dressing fertilizer is at the tasseling stage. Tasseling stage is when it's just flowering. So those are the 2 stages you can actually apply your top dressing fertilizers. And the other thing is, I'm also going to explain something about the supplementing of the zinc and the boron. This is done if the soil shows deficiency in some other areas. You can mean to apply the zinc and boron, so it will help those plants also regain or to do better. So the other step, which is step number 4, is irrigation and water management. And talking about irrigation and water management, what you need to know is maize requires adequate rainfall in critical stages. And what are those critical stages in maize? 1, at the germination stage, water is required. At the tasseling stage, water is required. And also at the same time, filling of the grains. So this is when we talk about filling of the grain, this is it. This is the stage I'm talking about. You can see this is the stage of yellow maize that I'm talking about. It requires uh, enough water. So therefore, if you want to get much grains, you make sure your maize has got a lot of water or has got enough water or rain. So that's how you'll get high quality yellow maize like this one of ours. And the other thing what you need to also keep in mind or to put in mind is you must avoid planting your maize in waterlogging areas, because maize in waterlogging areas will not grow, can germinate, but again will not grow. So that's why we always advise farmers not to plant their maize in waterlogging areas. So in other words, what I'm trying to mean is maize requires well-drained soil. So that's how you'll get high quality yellow maize. And the other step, which is step number 6, is weed control. How are you going to control weed so as to get high yielding maize? One method or one way of dealing with the weeds is by weeding after 2 to 3 weeks of germination, which means when the maize has just germinated, keep in mind that after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to be weeding such that the weeds don't compete with my plants or with my maize plant. And then the other way is also that you can mean to mulch your weeds, or you can plant you can have the cover plants. You can mean to plant them there so that they'll be able to stress the weeds. Even that's the same thing we use here actually. Here we normally plant our grasses. We plant the grass, which will again be used for the cows after harvesting the maize. So that's also the way we fight against the weeds. Then the other way is also you can mean to use pre-emergency herbicides. These ones also help so much to kill the weeds. So the other step is pest and disease management. This is our step number 7. So how shall we handle the pests and diseases, or how do we normally handle it here? Because this is the same way we use, or this is the same way we normally handle the pest and disease issues. Let's look at pests like fall armyworm, and then also we have got stalk borers. These ones which eat the stalk of the maize. So we normally do regular scouting. At least we move the field, we scout it to see if it's there, and if it's there, we take action. And then also the other thing is how we deal with those pests. We also we normally plant the varieties which are resistant to pests and diseases. And then also the other thing is make sure you apply safe pesticides. So that is how you can actually deal with the issue of pest and disease, which is very dangerous issue because a lot of farmers are actually facing that problem. But when you use those methods that I've given you, you're going to be able to handle it, and you're going to be able to get quality yellow maize or quality maize. The other disease is what we call the leaf blight or the rust or the smut. These are some of the diseases also which attack the maize so much, and this one we always control by rotating the plants or by rotating the maize. So which means we don't always plant our maize in the same place. Like for example, here we have planted, next season we are not going to plant maize here again. We keep rotating it, which is the easiest method for us that we use. And then also the other thing is you can use the fungicides also to deal with this the smut and the leaf blights. So that is this way you can actually control these pest issues. And then also the other thing is integrated pest management. And talking about integrated pest management, you make sure you encourage natural predators or keep the field very clean, because keeping the field clean is, as I said, is just a simple method whereby when you weed your field after 2 to 3 weeks and keep the field very clean, you're going to be able to deal with the issue of pests and diseases. And Keeping, as I said, keeping the field clean means you are destroying. You must also destroy the crop residues. That is another way of actually dealing with the pest and disease. So, which means after harvesting your corn, you make sure you destroy all the residues. Because for us normal here, sometimes because we grow it, just want to get the corn, we destroy it, and after destroying it, it's back in the soil. And again, after we don't plant the maize here, which means we plant it in another place. So there's no way that this is going to be a recurring issue. And finally, we have got the post-harvest handling. In talking about the post-harvest handling, you make sure you dry your maize properly to prevent the aflatoxin contamination, and also make sure you shell your maize properly to avoid damaging of the kernel, and also make sure you consider value addition. As you all know, the goods which have been added the value, they have higher return. And how do you do the value addition for the maize? You can mean to turn it into the flour. You can make animal feed out of the maize. You can mean to also make a starch out of the maize such that you get higher return. So guys, this is all what I had for you for today. And I thank you so much for those of you who have watched it up to this level. I really thank you so much. Just make sure you give a like to the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel Agriculture World Happiness, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell such that you don't miss on any other video from Agriculture World Happiness. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.